Hey everybody, welcome back to our Neck of the Woods. So in this video, we're gonna kind of update you a little bit on what's going on with the house build, but we're also gonna do, the main topic of this video is gonna be our well water and to see how we're doing after 1 year. So quick update on the house real quick. You can see we've got 4 out of the 7 panels done pretty much for the entire house except for this back wall here. And the reason why I stopped at 3 panels here is today we're supposed to get some storms coming in a few hours, even though it looks like it's a beautiful sunny day. And I don't have the supports yet from Brian, so I don't want to go too high, especially on these thin walls, because I think they can get blown over a little easy. Even though you've got the rebar in there and even though you've got the Nudura locking clips, I don't want to get too tall and have these blow over. Now, I did go ahead and foam everything on the inside and outside, so they are pretty stiff, but again, I don't want to get too tall, and these ones over here already have me worrying a little bit because they are 4 blocks tall, and obviously, as you can see, there's no support going over here, but they are pretty stiff. I just wouldn't do sustained high winds for too long, but it looks like it's just rain showers today, and then it looks like over the next 4 days it's going to be nothing but just absolute beautiful sun and in the 60s and 70s. So this was all done pretty much in 1 day, so there is a good chance that we will be able to go ahead and complete all of this just tomorrow basically, and I am pretty confident in that. They go up really fast. The 8-footers are easy to put up. I do have to go get rebar today or tomorrow because we are basically out of those 8-footers. So that's not bad to get basically the entire house done up to 4 out of 7 blocks with all that little rebar that I had. There's like 4 or 5 pieces left that I can start hanging up here in row 4, or for these over here that will be for row 4 that I'm not completing by those windows. But we should be able to hopefully get it all knocked out tomorrow. Brian is aware that I was like, hey, I need those braces right away because I don't want to get too tall and have these fall over. But if he doesn't come tomorrow, I'll just quickly get all the blocks up with all of the rebar. And then once the header blocks get up here between all of the windows and doors, that should make this entire structure now a box, and it should make it a lot stronger. But I don't want to rush it and go too fast, too hard, and then have the potential of it blowing over, especially with a storm coming in today. So fingers crossed, rebar today, all the blocks up tomorrow. The taper blocks will lock that entire top row in so it can't blow over, and then we should be good to go. So one other thing I hope this video brings you guys is a little bit better sound quality. I've been using the GoPro sound settings pretty much as they come in the camera, and then I started messing with the advanced Pro Tune settings. So apparently in the Pro Tune setting, you're gonna get better quality, even though the last few videos I've been recording in 4K, and the sound should get a little bit better because apparently there's 3 mics on a GoPro. There's 2 on the top and side and 1 in the front. That one in the front seems to be the dominant one, and that's the wind one. And when you just set it to the wind one, it sounds like that's what most of my videos sound like. It sounds like it's muffled stuff in the background, and apparently the camera's trying to play with all 3. So in the advanced settings, I switched over to the stereo, which is the microphone on top and on the side, not blocked by the front cover for the wind protection. And we also finally got the GoPro wireless mic adapter to work, and I've got an external mic on with a dead cat on it, which if you're not familiar with a dead cat, it's one of those big fluffy balls that go onto the microphone that blocks out all wind noise. So fingers crossed, when I see this video in editing, the sound will be better and the quality of the imaging will be better. So I'm in here editing right now, and there is a world of difference in sound quality. I don't know if you guys can pick it up, but in my editing software, it is literally night and day. So hopefully this is better for you guys as you're watching. But something else I want to say, and that I noticed, and I'm not sure if anyone out there is interested in like tech stuff, but I've been recording in 4K, and before I've done some recording in 2.7, and most of the videos have been in 1080p. And that's just because I've been using a 2020 MacBook Pro to do all my editing in. And when I'm watching back the videos on YouTube, they just looked like crap. So I was like, why spend the time and the file sizes and the longer editing for a 2.7 or a 4K when YouTube won't even let me see it? But it turns out it's nothing to do with really YouTube. It has to do with actually Apple products. So for example, right now I'm on Safari, and you can see that my quality can only go up to a 1080p on Apple. And in fact, if you probably won't be able to see this, but back here behind this box behind me, the sump pump, there's some part numbers on there. I can't really read those at all unless you really blow them up, and then you can kind of make them out a little bit easier, like I can read them. You guys may not be able to, but that's a world of difference in what I thought I was showing you guys at only 1080p. Now, the last 4 videos I've actually been doing in 4K, only because I think there's people out there with higher resolution TVs and computers, and maybe you guys can see that. But again, it does turn out it was my MacBook. So my friend just helped me download Google Chrome, and wouldn't you know it, I have the ability on this computer to actually view in 4K while recording for 4K. So now that we have Google Chrome on here running in 4K, again, you may not be able to see that, but I can read those numbers down there clear as day. So I hope this helps you guys out here in the future. If you do have Apple products, you might want to look into Google Chrome, since Apple and Safari don't support those higher resolution things, because Apple is different from Google because they're 2 different places. YouTube is owned by Google, so basically you're not getting the quality. It was a simple download, and now not only can I record and watch things back easier and better quality, but hopefully I'm bringing it all to you guys also. All right, so on to the main topic of this video. If you guys missed one of our first videos talking about our well water, basically we're going to revisit it. It's been about a year or so since we've had the well drilled, and unfortunately when I first had it drilled, we immediately had the water quality tested, and I think the problem is the water quality was not great because the well was brand new. The soil was just activated, it was just torn up, and I don't think that those numbers are going to be 100% accurate. Now, as you can see, we had the well tested, again, brand new, without any filters, and we tested it right from the well head that you guys just saw. Now, these are everything that I had tested, and there is one that's missing, which is nitrates, and nitrates really aren't that bad. They're in soil naturally, and the numbers weren't bad, so I'm not listing them here, but they were detected before and after. Now, again, the before is directly from the wellhead, and you can see arsenic was 14.3. Now, 14.3 is dangerous. The EPA lists anything over 10 is actually pretty dangerous, so you want to get under 10 somehow. Iron was 1.69, and again, iron is listed as high, anything over a 0.3, so we are quite high on iron. Hardness, anything over 100 is considered high, and anything over 200 is very bad. Anything over 200, you're pretty much looking at all of your filters and your faucet ends and stuff getting clogged, and it's going to be a bad day. As you can see, we are 488, so we are well above hardness. And then the good things here, E. coli was not detected, but coliform was detected. Now, coliform is basically just a bacteria detection. It's not E. coli, but when you have a well drilled and you've got people touching the pipe and putting that down in there, obviously you've got bacteria on your hands and stuff. That can be picked up, but it's not basically fecal matter, if you will, or runoff from any of the farms spraying manure or anything like that. So it's not going to get you sick. Obviously you can lick the back of your hand and you're not going to come down with, you know, a deadly gastritis or something where, you know, you're in the bathroom all night. So not a bad thing, but it is there, and the E. coli not there. So the after effect, what we did here was just this section here. If you look here, the after was me just putting in the filters that are in the storage tank here. Those filters consist of a 5-micron sediment filter, a heavy metal filter, and a carbon filter. So as you can see, the iron for the heavy metal is what was really brought down with that iron filter. We got all the way down to 0.5. Now that's still above 0.3, so you can start seeing fixtures in your house turning yellow over time, but it's not that bad, and so far our toilet and shower don't look bad at all. Now the heavy metal filter was supposed to take out arsenic, and as you can see, it did bring us down to 12.4, but the manufacturer says it'll help with arsenic, but not really. So that's why I brought it down a little bit. So we had to go into further testing, but not at this point. As you can see, hardness wasn't affected, and E. coli was still not detected, and this was taken basically at the garden hose that's in here that runs through the filters, and the garden hose is what dumps the water into the storage tank. So quick look at our setup again. Again, that first after, if you will, this one right here, this was tested just with the sediment, the iron, and the carbon. And as you can see, still not safe for us to really drink or brush our teeth with, or really even shower. I don't want arsenic particles floating in the air and basically getting in, leaching in through our skin and stuff like that. So there's something else that we had to do here, which is where we get down to these 2 arsenics. Now, the testing laboratory that we went to only tests to 5. So there's a chance that even though the arsenic was not detected, our arsenic could still be a 4.99 and we would never know. How did we get down to a not detected? Well, that's where we added a 3rd filter, and this is called an activated alumina filter. And this basically takes out arsenic 3 and arsenic 5. Now, how did we get down to the other one also? Well, inside of the camper, we have a Berkey filter. And that Berkey filter is just a countertop gravity-fed filtration water thing that you pour water in, and in the top of it are carbon blocks, and below that again is an activated alumina filter that Berkey calls chemical filters. It'll basically take out arsenic 3 and arsenic 5 again, and it'll also take out like fluoride and stuff that usually local water plants throw in there. Obviously I don't care too much about that. I'm really just trying to get the arsenic down to 0. So the fact that it was not detected from the activated alumina filter inside of the pump house, and the fact that it was not detected at the Berkey, means that pretty much I would assume the arsenic is pretty much down to 0. Now we still don't drink the water. We've really just been going out and buying water in gallon jugs from the local supermarkets, but it's been fine. That water's probably better than what this well water is until we get a pure water softening system. And the reason why we're not drinking it is because even though the Berkey can take out bacteria and viruses and protozoa and fungi and everything like that, and the below Berkey filters can take out the arsenic and the fluoride and stuff, it still can't take out the hardness. So no matter what, if we're at the well, if we're through all of those filters, we're through the Berkey filters, etc., the hardness would still be, I guarantee, above 400. And frankly, Aaron and I do not want to be drinking that type of water. I would assume that water would be basically giving you a kidney stone in a week, because you'd be having that much magnesium and calcium and everything else that would be down in there. So we're not drinking it. We tested it out with the Berkey, but after a few pours down in there, the bottom of the Berkey that holds the water, it's literally like sandpaper. It's just absolutely encrusted with hardness on the side of it. So that pretty much told us right away, stop using the Berkey. go buy bottled water, which is only infused from, you know, a city and stuff with minute amount of calcium and magnesium and manganese and stuff like that. So there's a hold on using the well, everything except for flushing a toilet and taking a shower. Now, what this video is going to do is the fact that it has been 1 year since we've had the well water tested, and usually they recommend doing it every year. Now, again, when the well was first drilled, my thought process is all those numbers are elevated because all of that ground soil and stone and everything was just basically cracked and broken and sitting down in there. The other thing is I want to retest when the well was still too new. The reason why the well has 2 garden hoses on it is one side I put a garden hose out into the yard and just let it run for like 10 minutes. And then I switch the valves over and fill the garden hose going through the filters, which then dumps it down into the storage tank. Well, when I first had the well, I didn't let it run out to the yard very long. Maybe like 30 seconds. And when I started filling up the storage tank, the sediment and everything down inside of that new well basically destroyed all 4 of our filters. So I contacted the company and they were gracious enough literally to send us 4 new filters. That carbon filter is about $30 or so for 2. I think the sediment filter is also about $30 for 2. But that heavy metal iron filter was like $89, and that activated alumina was like $150. That is a crazy gift that that company basically just gave us because I messed up and didn't let the system flush basically. So I want to go ahead and retest everything now that we've got new filters in there that have been in there for a good 6 or 7 months, maybe even longer, 9 or 10, because it happened only a few months after having it, and the well's basically been drilled for about 1 year and 3 or 4 months now, I think. So I would like to see now that the well has settled down, the water quality looks a lot better. I do run it out to the yard for a good 10 minutes or so and then put it into the storage tank, and I don't even fill that up right away. I let those filters basically flush out for about 5 minutes also by throwing that out into the yard. So I'm really flushing the whole system out. So I would like to retest everything, see where we're at, see if the well has calmed down, see if the new filters are still working properly and that the arsenic and everything is down. Hopefully the fact that we aren't really seeing a yellow sink or toilet or shower, the fact that the well has calmed down, we might even actually be under that 0.5 now for iron, especially because everything's kind of settled in that well. So your guess is as good as mine. So today is Sunday. I will wait for tomorrow to head down there, pick up some bottles, come back here, fill them up, bring them back down there, and then we're going to wait 2 or 3 days to get the results back. So you'll see the end of this video in 2 or 3 days, but fingers crossed, the well's looking a lot better. But once we get the house up, once we get electricity in the house, and we actually go ahead and pick and customize our water filtration system to target arsenic, to target iron, and definitely to target that hardness, we'll definitely be on our way with a proper system so that it's tailored toward what our well is producing. And as you can see, our well is not great. The numbers are terrible, but it's a good well. I talked about this in another video when we first went over our well water, and a good well produces somewhere around 8 gallons a minute. You can still have a sustainable well for a small family. If you're down to maybe 3, I wouldn't go below that, maybe 4 gallons a minute. But our well is producing almost 17 gallons a minute. So it is a crazy, powerful, awesome well. It's just that the numbers and what is down mixed in with that water is terrible. So stay tuned, hang with us here. We're going to do this over the next 2 to 3 days. We're going to get you the results, and we're going to see where we're at. And then based on that, we're going to finally figure out what system we want to go with, what tailoring, and are we going to continue to use these filters or not? Or is there going to be a system out there which basically has just massive scuba tank looking filters that do everything for us, plus the water softener, and then maybe we can scrap these filters and we don't have to be paying hundreds of dollars once or twice a year to keep replacing these filters when they've run their life cycle. All right, welcome back. So it's Monday. we are on our way back now to the laboratory. We went and picked up their bottles, and it's a good thing I did go down there, and I had to be downtown already today for something else because the lady over the phone or through email said I only had to use a plastic bottle, so I was just gonna buy whatever and take it down to them. But it turns out that for these testing, there is a preservative in there. I believe it's hydrochloric acid, I'm not sure, but he's basically like, don't get it on your skin, don't touch anything. It will burn you and melt and everything like that, so don't touch it. So I got the bottles that are needed. We're going back there to head now, and I'm trying to rush down there before rush hour or anything, because getting downtown and back out of there is an absolute nightmare. But we've got a sample from the wellhead, and we've got a sample from the kitchen sink, so we can see before and after all the filters and to see if anything changed from last year. And the reason why I had to go downtown anyway today is when I first originally ordered all of the Simpson brackets from Home Depot for the octagon plates and the LVL brackets that hold up the LVLs all the way around, 3 LVL brackets are missing. Now, I didn't count them when I picked them up. They were in 4 or 5 boxes. I opened them up to see if they at least gave me the LVL brackets, because the regular brackets for like a 2x whatever are obviously only 1.5 inches wide as opposed to 1 3/4 inches wide. And I didn't count them all. The octagon plates were there, but the LVL's brackets were missing. So I stopped in at Home Depot and told him, hey, 3 are missing. I ordered them, you know, back in April, and he went and gave them to me for free. And like I said, luckily for me, Simpson is local, just downtown, so I'm able to just go there and pick them up, and I didn't get charged anything for them. The only thing is though, at will call, picking them up at Simpson, they tried to give me 3 boxes. I only needed 3 individual brackets plus the bolts. And he's like, well, I don't know what to do with them now. And I go, well, I didn't pay for them anyway, so return them to your inventory. I'm not just going to take your product for, I think there's like 15 in a box or something. What the hell am I going to do with all these LVL brackets? So tell your boss to put them back in inventory. You or Home Depot made the mistake of ordering 3 cases instead of 3 individual brackets. So whatever. I've got them now. They are going on the LVL, the last one that I placed, which is the back of the house, south side, which is the opposite side of the garage. That LVL is only 17 feet long, so it's not a big deal. I've already got 2 brackets on there, and there's only 5 total. So they're sitting on the ends, and right now the subfloor is already bolted down, so that LVL is not going anywhere, and there's no weight really significantly sitting on it. And if you remember, because of the 2-inch overlap of subfloor to get to 16 inches on center for the first eye joist, that LVL to first eye joist is actually only around like 14 inches or something on center. So that's a very strong location to be right there. So the LVL has already been pre-drilled and marked out. So all I got to do is slip those brackets back in and then finish putting the bolts all the way into the octagon plate. So it'll be a 5-minute job to knock out real quick. So not a big deal. But like I said, we're on our way back right now to drop off these water samples. And then again, we will see you guys all back in probably 2 to 3 days with the test results and see what we got. Hey everybody, welcome back. So it's been several days for me, but obviously it's only been a few seconds for you. We finally got our well results back. So this is going to be the new testing at the well and the new after the filters. Now remember, those filters are in there for about 9-10 months or something, so they're pretty old, probably coming up on a change. So we're going to go ahead and see where we're at now. Now just to remind you, here's where we were again after the filters, after they were kind of brand new, but the well was still brand new. So you can see arsenic went down to 12.4. That was just with a heavy metal filter. The iron filter obviously is working to bring us our iron way down, but that's still considered high since it's above a 0.3. Hardness, again, crazy high as long as you're above 200. And again, these arsenics down here are after the arsenic filter, the activated alumina filter, and the Berkey inside of the camper. So that's where we're at now. So again, filters are a year old, so we're gonna go ahead and see where we're at right now. And first things first, let's go with the new arsenic. We are currently at 16.0. Now, if you remember, anything above a 10 by the EPA is considered extremely high. And we started out on a brand new well at 14.3. We got down to 12.4 with a heavy metal filter, which really is just for iron. But the well being a year old, arsenic, not good. Not good to be going up. So filtration, definitely in our future. Next up, we have iron. So first we started at 1.69. With the filters, we got down to a 0.5. And currently the well, after 1 year old, is 1.56. So the iron pretty much has not changed in 1 year of the well basically settling down. So we also are 100% going to be needing iron filtration in the house to continue with that. And then last, the only reason why I tested the hardness, I knew it wasn't going to change. In fact, we're still at a 427. And here we're a 488 and 482 after filters. I was just curious to see if it had gone down. I'm sure that the hardness is still leaching in from the soil and the rocks and everything that the water's bringing in, since those particles are basically microscopic or literally the size of an atom. So I didn't think that was going to change, but I was curious. So we still have a lot of filtration that we're going to have to do for hardness and get one heck of a softener. Now, after the filters for 1 year, it's not looking too good for the arsenic. After 1 year with the iron filter, the heavy metal filter, and the activated alumina filter for the arsenic, we are now back up to being detected at 7.00. So we are above their 5, which is what they test down to. So right there, that tells you after 1 year, or like I said, 9 or 10 months, we 100% have to change out the filters for the activated alumina for the arsenic, and we might as well just do them all since they were all done at the same time last year. A good news though, it looks like our iron is dropped down to a 0.361. So we're still above our iron, above a 0.3, but just barely. That's probably why our toilet and our sink and our shower are still looking great, because the iron is just barely over what you would be considered high. It's still got particles down inside of the well, so, or in the storage tank, so I know it's still turning that red, but it's doing okay, at least for inside of the house. But again, iron filtration still in our future, because we want to get this down to 100% zero. We also want to get that down. And again, with the hardness, this is actually a little surprising. The hardness went up just a hair to 452. This could be, maybe there were some particles on the kitchen faucet, so as it was, you know, coming on by, maybe it picked up a little bit more than what was in the actual wellhead. I'm not sure. I did actually just clean out the kitchen sink the other day, because this was starting to completely clog and the water was starting to like shoot out everywhere, and now it looks like laminar flow. It's a beautiful fresh stream, so that's exactly what you want for your kitchen sink and stuff. So looks like we're gonna have to get a call in to Express Water. We're gonna have to order these filters. I'm wondering if the iron will even drop even more with a brand new filter and with a new arsenic filter, because I think they kind of go hand in hand and share off each other. I'm not sure. But the reason why I also forgot to mention, the reason why I tested this hardness again too, is I was just curious if the hardness would go down at all, because all of this testing right in here, the activated alumina filter was not in there, and now the activated alumina filter is here, which is here for hardness. So I was just curious if that maybe would give some sort of filtration for that, but as you can see, it didn't. In fact, it even went up. So that's where we stand right now. So now we know what system that we need tailored to target these three things, and then we can go from there. All right, so I hope you guys enjoyed that video. I hope you guys can figure out what testing that you may need to do, figuring out what kind of filtration you guys may need. Obviously, it is a good idea to go ahead and test your well every year, like it is recommended from the EPA, so that you guys would know if your system is still good or not. You guys with whole house systems, though, with full-blown water softeners and like I said, those like big scuba tank looking things that have sand and carbon powder and all that stuff down in them, I'm sure you guys may be able to stretch it a little bit longer than just a couple, you know, 20-inch filters and some 10-inch filters also before it actually makes its way into the house. But I would still definitely keep checking your guys' system, because that arsenic right there, that is not good. That is a good way for you to go ahead and get some sort of cancer. It is a carcinogen, so you want to go ahead and get that taken care of. So keep testing your water. Now you guys can know what systems you'll be looking at. Personally, I don't have anything off the top of my head, but I do know when I go with a company, that's exactly what I'm going to tell them, that these are the 3 main things that I want to target. And along the way, maybe they will recommend you, hey, do one more test, see what this is at. And you may need 1 extra filter, or you may need to change this 1 component on the system. So when it's actually time and I talk to an expert, we'll see what actually I need. But I hope you guys enjoy this video. I hope you gain a little bit of knowledge from it. Stay safe out there. Make sure you guys are drinking quality stuff. You don't want to end up sick and, you know, getting stuff at an early age. But please like and subscribe. Like I said, this video is now being brought to you in the future. 2 other videos have actually already been made, so we'll go ahead and get those posted up as soon as possible. So you're gonna have basically 3 right in a row. The house is actually already well beyond what you guys are seeing in this video, or where I was at when this one first started. So actually we just got finished up doing a few things today, but I'll let that speak for itself in another video, which will probably be video number 4 that I'll be recording. So we will see you guys all later. Hope you have a good one, and take care.